Hey Internet, my name is Julian and I'm here with this week's movie review. This week, The Fate of the Furious came out and man, is it just as crazy as the ones previously. So let's just jump right in. The Fate of the Furious is the 8th installment in the franchise, the second one not involving Paul Walker, and the first one being filmed after Paul Walker's death. Now, the film is written by Chris Morgan and directed by F. Gary Gray, with a PG-13 rating for prolonged sequences of violence and destruction, suggestive content and language, with a runtime of 136 minutes. Now, the film does star Vin Diesel, Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Chris Bridges, Kurt Russell, Scott Eastwood, Charlize Theron, and Helen Mirren. Now that that's out of the way, let's just jump right into the pros and cons of this movie. I'll start off by saying that the story for the movie is actually better than I thought it would be. Now, in all the trailers you see, Dom turns on the family, and in the past 7 movies, family's been a big thing for Dom. So, to have him do that just felt out of place, and watching the movie now, I can understand why he does it. So, to say that the story is lacking or bad is actually incorrect. The story is actually pretty decent, and just watching the trailers, you don't get the whole glimpse of what's going on. Now, the story is kind of predictable, though. From scenes early on, you can kind of tell why he's doing it and what's actually going on behind the scenes. And actually, pretty early into the movie, you actually figure out why he's betrayed his family. Now, that being said, there's a little bit of subplots in there as well with Hobbs's character and Jason Statham's character, and that's kind of the reason why they brought in Helen Mirren. And I don't want to spoil too much, so I'm just going to stop talking on that part. Now, that being said, the story is interesting. It is good. It makes somewhat sense. The villain for the story is actually phenomenal. Charlize Theron played a great villain in this movie, and it's one of those villains that you just hate. You want her to die, and that's really it. And she does it really well. Once you find out the reason behind why Dom has changed his mind about his family, you kind of understand what's going on, and you just want her to die, and that makes her acting and the script for it just absolutely great, because she does a really wonderful performance in this to be a really good villain. The action sequences, the special effects, all that is there. It's just as good as the previous ones. It's just as over his top in the movie, and it's kind of a little bit of a con to me. Now, this is just my opinion. Obviously, everyone's going to be different, especially fans of the franchise. They love this stuff. They eat it up. That's what they're here for. They're here for the over top action and cars and everything like that. For me, though, it's just, from a physics standpoint and from a car standpoint, just some of the things aren't supposed to work that they do. I mean, even at one point, Dom races and he turns his car around, and he's now driving backwards, and he's using this laughing gas that you would see at a dentist's office as his nos, and he's now has this jerry-rigged thing where if he pulls out this pin, it pops out a hose in his car and it makes it like a turbo, and it's insanity. I mean, that's what it is. There's even a point, even in the trailer, that you see The Rock, turns away a torpedo with his bare hands. It's just crazy things like that, but that's what makes it a fun movie. The action sequences, like I said, are great. The explosions look awesome. The car races and stuff, all fantastic. There's really nothing else to say about it. It's just like any previous Fast and the Furious movie. It's the same kind of action sequence you would expect. The soundtrack is just as good as the ones in the previous. You have all the right feels with the music. You have your hip-hop and pop in it, and you have your reggaeton and things like that. The environments are great. When you're in Cuba, you expect it to feel like you're in Cuba, and that's what it brings. When you're in New York, it feels like you're in New York City. In Russia, you have all the ice and stuff like that they always talk about, and that's how it feels. And same thing with like Berlin. Everything that you would expect to feel in those environments actually feels like you're there. There really isn't any downfalls to this movie. Plot-wise, I mean, things make sense. With story and everything. There's really nothing else to say about the movie. It's a Fast and the Furious movie. If you like the franchise, you're going to go see this movie either way, and you're going to enjoy it because it's over the top, it's fun, it's exciting, it's, seat of your pants kind of thing. If you don't like the Fast and Furious franchise, then you're probably not going to like this movie because it's just as over the top from there. Now, there are bits and pieces in the movie that they do quick callback to Paul Walker's character Brian, and they even have a nice little tribute at the end again for Paul Walker. Not in the form that they did last time where they flash back through all the previous movies he's done, but just a nice little shout out to Brian's character. That being said, this movie does end off on a somewhat, I wouldn't say cliffhanger, but there is definitely a possibility for sequels, and I believe Vin Diesel has already said that he plans on making more after this, so I kind of already know where the movie's going to head towards. Now, the movie universe is starting to get a little crazy. It's always kind of been a little crazy, but now it just seems like they're almost in a Marvel universe. There's things that these characters do that are somewhat superhuman, things that cars shouldn't really do, makes it seem like they're from another world, and this last plot of this movie has been essentially to save the world from nuclear destruction, coming from the first film where they were essentially just robbing semis to get VCRs and TVs to save the world. I feel like the next step in this movie franchise should be to fight off aliens or something. That's honestly the feeling that I'm starting to get from these films. But it is what it is. Now, there's a lot of backstory as well, like I said, with Vin Diesel's, with Dwayne's character, Hobbs, even Jason Statham's character, which I actually felt was really nice, which kind of tied things together more, made it, feel more for these characters themselves. And it'd be nice to see that in the future films as well. Maybe more backstory with, characters like Tyrese's character, or Kurt Russell's character, Scott Eastwood's character. So, hopefully we get that in the future films. That all being said, go watch the movie. It's fun and exciting. You'll have a good time. It's not going to win any, Best Picture awards, but you'll enjoy it. I mean, that's really it. That's what it comes down to, enjoying the movie. So that's it from me here. If you like this video, go ahead and give us a like. If you want to see more of these reviews in the future, go ahead and subscribe. And if you could, go ahead and share with your friends and family. And that's really it from me here. Have a great day.